Now, help me out here. I've watched this video multiple times of Danis being attacked. He's on his own. He doesn't start any violence. He comes under violent attack by a gang, not one, not two, not three, but a whole mob of Muslims. That's how they fight, if you're just getting to understand this. Even the fighters, the cage fighters, the MMA fighters, the UFC fighters, even they won't fight one-on-one. A gang of them attack Danis. Whilst they're attacking him, they're shouting Allah Akbar. Whilst they're attacking him, yeah? Do you know what they're shouting? They're shouting exactly the same as what the Afghani who attacked and shot dead 2 people in the United States today. They're shouting the same as him. Yet it's Danis who's banned. I can't get my head around it. I'm thinking, have I missed something here? So he gets attacked on his own by a gang of as Dana White tells us, the Muslim Brotherhood, 40 of them. So the Muslim Brotherhood come to a fight. They attack a single man who's on his own because of his views and his comments about Islam. They violently attack him and he's banned. The victim is treated like the criminal. Am I missing something? I keep watching it thinking, am I missed something here? Because I respect Dana White, but surely UFC's not pandering to these cavemen as well. The government pandered to them, the police pandered to them, now UFC's pandering to them. If they attacked him when he's on his own, why ain't they banned? Why not kick the fucking Muslim Brotherhood out of UFC? Why is he being banned? I can't get my head around it. Someone help me out here in the comments so I can try and understand actually have I missed something major here? Is there something else gone on? Because I'm just looking at it thinking, surely you're not just surrendering to this mob of Muslim Brotherhood. Because the Muslim Brotherhood need to be kicked out of America, out of UFC, out of everywhere.
Tommy Robinson's reaction to the Danis incident is a textbook example of how he transforms a physical altercation into a grand ideological narrative. Instead of treating the fight as a chaotic brawl, something not exactly rare in combat sports environments, he reframes it as evidence of a broader cultural crisis. Robinson positions himself not as someone commenting on a UFC dispute, but as a whistleblower exposing what he believes is a systemic pattern of institutional weakness and political capitulation. His repeated insistence that Danis is the victim punished as the criminal is only the surface layer. Underneath, Robinson uses the moment to reinforce a narrative he has championed for years. That authorities in the West are allegedly bending to the will of specific groups, and that every arena, from police forces to sports organizations, is now part of that supposed drift. What makes his argument effective to his audience is the emotional rhythm he constructs. He begins with disbelief, escalates to indignation, and then asks a series of pointed rhetorical questions designed to reinforce the sense of a hidden agenda. Have I missed something here? Is something else going on? These questions aren't genuinely investigative. They're cues meant to validate viewers' existing frustrations and suspicions. By suggesting that the UFC, like governments and law enforcement, is pandering, Robinson ties a single chaotic scene to a sweeping political accusation. It's a narrative strategy that thrives on ambiguity. The less clear the actual footage, the more room there is for him to frame it as a symbol of institutional failure. Ultimately, Robinson's commentary isn't really about Danis. It's about seizing a viral moment and using it to build a case that society is in decline. Authorities are afraid to enforce their own rules, and that only voices like his are willing to call it out. Whether one agrees with him or not, the pattern is unmistakable. Take a heated event, strip it from its contextual complexity, and frame it as part of an existential battleground. That's why his message spreads, not because it resolves the facts, but because it taps directly into the emotional engine of grievance politics.
Well, first of all, of course you should be able to use the term fireman, and you should be able to use the word firewoman too. I was a policewoman for many years. I was proud to be a policewoman. I'm proud to be a woman. And the fire service is full of excellent, brave men and women, doing their absolutely best to serve us in, very, very difficult circumstances. But I think it's important to say that in this particular case, it's not just about the use of the word fireman. And I'd encourage everybody to read the facts of this case, really, and, the awful sort of misogynistic sort of culture that was reported with regards to this, really. And, it's not even just that, the fire service have got a particular problem, really, and women in the service have faced a torrid time over many years. And there have been many reviews in many areas, including London, Avon and Somerset, in this case, Dorset.
Well,
North
yeah,
Wales,
I mean, there was a slightly
West Wales.
farcical situation that did happen. Basically declared itself institutionally racist, and then when it was asked why it was racist, they then couldn't answer, which did kind of tie in slightly with the idea that now it was a kind of take the knee scenario where you had to flagellate yourself and say I'm a racist, and then when someone said, well, have you ever actually said or done anything racist, and you can't give an example. But when it comes to this, now there was the lady involved, who I won't name, I believe was a former female rugby star. So she's been in a kind of male-dominated rugby environment before that, if you'd like, probably you would imagine playing at clubs and things like that. And then to go into the fire service and then say that the boss should have taken it more seriously, that she was annoyed at the gendered use of the word fireman. I don't know. Do you think it's worth? Do you think it's worth this guy losing his career over that, or not?
I'll be quite plain, Patrick. If it was just over the use of that term, then of course I don't think that. It would be absolutely ridiculous. You should be able to use that phrase. Why shouldn't you use it? Equally, we should be able to use the term woman in the workplace as well. And as we've seen recently with Maxine Croxall on the BBC, that's controversial too. But I think we have to say here that all women generally want in the workplace is a respectful and fair environment to work in. Most women aren't bothered about the use of the term men or women, and it is crazy to think otherwise, and it was by far not the only factor in this case.
Yes, okay. And so do you think that our public services, like the fire brigade, like the police, that they are still a boys' club, are they, do you think, or not really?
Well, I think, if you look at the reviews that have taken place in the fire service, this seems to be a sort of recurrent factor now over many years. Women working in those organisations, going in, seeing their colleagues watching porn around a computer, being subjected to sexual assaults in the workplace and sexual harassment. No woman should be enduring that in the workplace. And I think, most men listening to this as well would agree with that and would not want their female relatives to be subjected to that either. I think that's only... Absolutely. Common sense, but at the same time, in that fair and respectful working environment, we should be able to treat each other with common sense, humanity, and respect.
At the risk of talking over a woman at a very sensitive time, Kathy, I'm sorry.